video, we're going to discuss the relationship between reporting information you borrowed from other texts and evaluating that information. And often there's a very small gray area of difference. It's important that you understand the difference and that you choose a reporting verb that indicates that you understand the difference. Now, in the annotated bibliography assignment, we're asking you to put the information that you borrowed in one paragraph and then the evaluation in the second paragraph. However, when you write papers, that's often mixed together. So the reader will have to decide whether or not you're reporting information or evaluating information. And there's no right or wrong answer to that, but you as a writer need to be clear which of those two acts you're doing. And so with every reporting verb, remember, you're indicating a stance toward that information, so that there's no right or wrong answer here to whether you're reporting or evaluating, but it's a fine area. So we want to look at some examples of where it's not always clear whether you're reporting or evaluating the information. So we've chosen 5 reporting verbs. All of these are more or less negative evaluations to some degree, and we'll look in a second video on the more positive evaluation. So in the first one, he admits he has paid a steep price. Admits that, of course, looks like an informative reporting verb, but it's saying that it's a negative about the author. The author is accepting criticism. So this is the writer's opinion that there's something wrong here, and that the author is admitting to something that's wrong. Hopes is an evaluation, because unless the author actually said, in this case, that he hopes something will happen, it's really the writer's evaluation that this is a hope. The author may have argued it, the author may have believed it, but the fact that it's a hope is more the opinion of the writer. So this is more of an evaluation. And again, in these first 2 examples, it's not very clear-cut. Number 3 is a little more clear-cut. He assumes that states must deploy aerial firepower to defeat their unconventional enemies. That's more the writer analyzing what's an underlying assumption. The author probably never said that he or she assumed anything, but the writer is analyzing what the author said, and therefore uses the reporting verb assume. But that's really more the writer's opinion. Alleges is a very negative word, that Clark alleges that malpractice cases often result from a reported failure. Again, that's a fairly negative. It means that there's not a whole lot of evidence. It's not proved. Now, sometimes alleges is used, you'll hear it on the news sometimes, to mean that it's not been proved, but it's not clear that Clark ever alleged it. Clark may have said it, but the writer feels it's not at the stage yet where there's really proof, so the writer chooses the word alleges to evaluate the evidence that Clark has. Temple doubts that, now again, this is Temple could have expressed something negative, so the author reports. So this is one that's very close on the border about whether Temple doubts that costly fMRI scans will ever be used routinely. Temple probably said something negative. The author's opinion, the writer's opinion, is that Temple has a negative opinion. Now, in this case, there's no indication that the writer and the author may agree with each other. So it's not that the author is right or the author is wrong and the writer is right, um, but that they're both negative about that. But again, it's assuming something about Temple that may or may not be exactly clear. So again, in these cases, the writer is on the borderline of evaluating, and in these cases, in a negative way, something that's in the author's work. The author may agree with the writer. It's not clear here.